What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. What's going on, you lot, man? The weather continues to soar here in England, although there was a massive storm last night. What's going on? Time for your latest Manchester United transfer news. Do you know what? I just realised as well. Why have I started like the last 3 shows like I'm a weatherman? I'm like, the temperatures have reached above 28. Showers expected from an easterly breeze. Let me know what your weather. Why am I doing that? I don't know why I'm doing that. Maybe I'm just excited because the weather's hot. Really, that's what it is. But what I do always start with is the usual housekeeping rules. Let me know where you're watching from. Smash a like on the video and make sure you guys subscribe if you lot are new. United Aiden says 12 p.m. show. Here we go. 100% Aiden. Big up yourself, bro. Big up yourself. 12 p.m. Kind of just been adjusting some of the things a little bit, getting used to routine and all of that stuff. So we're gonna go 12 p.m. For our transfer update shows as well. So make sure you guys are alert and attentive, ready for that, and hit the bell, the bottom right hand corner as well, so you guys can keep up to date with that. A lot to get through in today's show, man. Manchester United's midfield muddle, Ollie's midfield muddle, midfield dilemma, midfield problem, midfield options, all of that it could be called. We're going to talk about Leon Goretzka being offered a contract in 2022 by Manchester United. That's been spoke about a lot. Bayern Munich being in some, financial difficulty, financial trouble. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the latest on Paul Pogba, Sal Niguez, Donny van de Beek. And like I said, just the midfield in general. See KG in the free seats, big up. KG, I challenge you. I challenge you to send a super chat. Get out of the free seats and send me a £2 super chat, and I promise you, I'll send it back. I'll send it back. You lot know for a fact that if he sends me that, he's not getting it back. But big up everyone in the free seats. I just used the KG scouting method. We should buy this guy at any price, says Bugs Lovers Text. Oh my God. Gilbert says, channel should have been called Netflix. Netflix. That's nice. I probably would have got sued. But a little N with the F coming out the side, that would have been mad. Wagwan, big up from South Africa as well. We got in the place. And Ireland, we've got Scully watching from Ireland. Road to 100k says muscle grows saying. KG in the cut says Dola. And Pretty MUFC says Flex is Mr. Sky Sports News. I'm not Mr. Sky Sports News, but I will be on there next month as well. Ahmed, big up for the contribution with and the emoji saying cool as well. Appreciate that. And yes, Flex, I'm on a warning at work for watching United View, so let me know if there are jobs going, says Dola. Wow, don't get sacked, bro. We've got Trinidad and Tobago in the place as well, Devon, and not Devon the place, but Devon from Trinidad and Tobago. Movie Time says AOKG. Simon McGill says stay with us. And Flex, you need to jump on Red Wednesday tonight, says Eagle Eyed Football. I'll leave KG to that. I'll leave him to that. I can't jump on them kind of crazy shows. God knows what. KG on his own platform? Nah, I don't know about that. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. Let's get into this. Now, these are the reports and these are the quotes. I like to start with some of the quotes that are coming out. And this is reported by Imia Sanmia, but it was via Sport Build. And what they say, which is a big German outlet, they said Leon Goretzka's representatives are demanding up to 20 million to sign a new contract at Bayern Munich because they want to be paid what, players around the world are being paid. Like here at Man United, other teams in the Prem, etc., etc. For a new contract at Bayern Munich. But Bayern Munich's recent offer was between 10 million and 12 million. And they also go on to say that Man United have then offered Leon Goretzka a contract for when his Bayern Munich contract expires in 2022. United's offer exceeds Bayern's current offer. So basically, Leon Goretzka's in a point where he's going into his last year of his contract. He can... obviously, like what Pogba's in, he's in a Pogba situation. Let's just make it really simple. He's in a Pogba situation, and he wants a new deal, but the P's that they're putting down is not sufficient enough. That's what he's saying, and he wants a certain amount of money, and they're not giving him it. And according to reports, which it doesn't feel right to me. This one feels a bit off, but according to the reports, Man United have seen that and gone, here's a deal. Here's a deal for you. We'll offer you this, and you can sign for us in 2022. And it says United offer exceeds Bayern's current offer, and he's demanding up to 20 million to sign a new contract. So euros, that is. So we must be putting in at least 15, 16, maybe 17 million euros as a mad guess from myself. So we have to see how how that pans out. But that seems a bit off. But so what? Are we looking for backup for Bruno next year? Would Donny be gone by then? I'll talk about Donny van der Beek a little bit later in the show. It just feels a little bit off. Would we be planning for an attacking midfielder for this time next year? Would we be thinking that far ahead when we haven't even sorted the defensive midfielder situation? We're still trying to get Varane over the line. We're going to need another striker come next season as a priority because Cavani's going to go. I'm not sure about that. It feels really off to me. It feels really off. Couple super chats here. Rashad says, blessings Flex from Toronto. Mad respect for your channel, fam. Big up, man, from the 6. Thank you, Rashad, man. I proper appreciate that. And Shadira says, big up to you, Flex. Congrats on your new channel. Been trying to catch you live. Shout out from Brisbane, Australia. Hold tight, anyone watching from Australia down under as well, man. Big up all the Oz crew inside. So back to what I was saying. Yeah, and this is where it's a midfield dilemma / midfield muddle / big options to do, because we're also in for Sal Niguez. Well, I don't believe that we are, but there's noises from Sal Niguez as well. And it just doesn't fit. We need a defensive midfielder. We don't need a box-to-box midfielder, I don't think. I think we need an out-and-out defensive midfielder, especially if Solskjaer wants to change how we're going to play, i.e. play this 4-3-3, i.e. Change the formation from a 4-2-3-1 to playing with 3 out-and-out midfielders and take Bruno out of the 10. We need a holding midfielder, a specialist in a position. Remember how many times I've always said, guys, like I want specialists in the positions. I don't want utility guys. I don't want people who he can play here, but he prefers to play here. I want out-and-out specialists. And that is difficult to attain, especially in defensive midfield, of attainable targets who fit the profile. I get it. But I definitely don't think it's Goretzka, and I definitely don't think that's Sal Niguez. Sal Niguez is a box-to-box player. When's the last time he played as a holding midfield player? Ages ago. So I don't get that. Jordan Shotton says Goretzka is a box-to-box mostly and plays double pivot a lot. Think lose the ball, Pogba free, get Goretzka for free. I just think he'll sign a new contract by then. But I just don't see it. I don't see us trying to build our team around Goretzka coming in. It just feels, and next season as well, when we're going to need so much more. That's why it feels off for me. And look, if it feels off for me, it may not feel off for you guys. You guys may think, nah, hang on a minute, Flex. There's actually something in this. Let me know what you guys think. Do you lot think, nah, it doesn't sound quite right? Or are you in the camp of saying, actually, try and unsettle him, see if he signs a pre-contract and agrees to come next year? He's a good player. You guys might think that. And that's what this is all about. I want to know what you lot are saying as well. Big up Flex all the way from Phoenix, South Africa, says Alan. And Goretzka play in the double pivot, says Lil Yo-Yo. See, I don't see him as that sort of player. I'm not saying he can't play there, but I wouldn't think I'll be getting the best out of him. And again, for me, it would be putting people in their position, like their second position, not their favoured position. And I just want to move away from that. I just want, if Ollie's going to say I'm having 3 midfielders, I want somebody who's a defensive midfielder who's going to stay and screen and mop up and play passes in between the lines to initiate attacks and break up play. And I want 2 attacking midfielders ahead of that, in like a Bruno or Pogba and whatnot. If Pogba goes to PSG, buy Neves with the cash, said had as a matter. The Neves thing I'm not sold on as well. I don't know what you guys think. I don't think he moves very well. I think he's decent on the ball, Ruben Neves. Good strike, decent set pieces. I don't think he travels well with the ball. I don't think he can get about the pitch well enough. And if we're going to lose Paul Pogba, Ruben Neves for me isn't that guy. I think Ruben Neves would need to play alongside legs as well, and I think we might be back in the same position, maybe worse, because Ruben Neves definitely can't do the things that Paul Pogba would do. It all depends on the function in midfield, I suppose. If we change completely what we were trying to do, and you had Neves, a defensive midfielder, and say Bruno, then maybe. But again, if we get Neves, we still need a defensive midfielder. But I guess that's what you're saying, because you're saying swapping for Pogba. Eagle Eye Football says, since KG won't, don't worry, KG, bro, I've got you later. Oh, KG in the mud. Man, I got to pay. KG's gone to the bar, and he's gone, yo, my wallet, the way my thing's set up, like, it's in the car. Could you spot me? And yeah, Eagle Eye Football stepped in and got KG around because KG couldn't get around. I appreciate that. I know I was only having a laugh, by the way, as well. And yeah, so that's where we're at with Leon Goretzka. Manchester United supposedly are offering him a deal in excess of what Bayern Munich have offered him. And like I said, it feels off for me. The Soundiguez thing is even more weird for me because I just feel like he's definitely not a defensive midfielder. He hasn't really hit the heights as well that he's been around for a while, always kind of in and around Europe, like being highly tipped, and hasn't really kicked on. He wasn't even starting for Spain in the Euros. Pedri's done better than him. Rodri's done better than him. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I really don't. And again, as a holding midfielder, I definitely don't see it. And that's all I'm concerned with, getting the right players for the right positions. None of this kind of, he can do a job there. I'm just not on that. And another thing I want to talk about, right? And this is from Fjortov, I think it was. He said the money trouble in Munich. He goes, there's money trouble in Munich. The likes of Goretzka and Kimmich, the present future leaders, want the same wages as the big earners clubs like Man United, etc. And he said that Man United are following this closely. So that it's almost like there could be a bring and buy sale or Blue Peter badge sale at Bayern Munich, because their players are basically saying, well, what's the going rate for someone who's at a top club, competing for Champions League, winning leagues in other teams, in other leagues where there's more money, they get paid X amount and we're only getting paid X amount. That's not fair. We want higher wages. And for Fjortov to say that Man United are monitoring this closely to try and cash in, I think it's Greg Rutherford, big up Greg if you watch him. He was like, imagine we can get Kimmich and Goretzka. I said, Greg, you're in Tokyo. I think you've got your PS5 there. You're playing FIFA. But I think the fact that Man United, or he's reporting that Man United are looking at the situation, it's almost like we're trying to pounce on that if that's true. I mean, this is according to reports. You can't say it's definite because it's not definite. But what I would say is that if there's a deal to be made on Kimmich or Goretzka or something, maybe we are there looking at it. I don't think Kimmich will be leaving. I don't think there's anything in it too tough. I do think there's issues there, money problems at Munich because they can't afford to give the players what they think they're worth. But does that mean Man United can exploit that with the likes of a Kimmich? I'm not so sure. Would I take Kimmich? Of course I would. It's a proper player, but I'm just not so sure. Ashtush says, if Kimmich is looking for a move, he'd be perfect for us. 100%. I think the key bit there you said there, Ashtush, is if he's looking for a move. First super chat from Dola. First super chat, KG, you're buying the next round. 100%. And Makil Khan says, I wish life was FIFA. Don't we all? I think fans from a lot of clubs wish life was FIFA. Big up all the mods as well, keeping everything prim and proper. I see a couple of the main mods. They know who they are. Big up themselves. They're holding down the fort. And it's good to keep the mods' spirits up and keep doing their thing. We love the mods, man. Everyone smash a like for the mods as well. Keeping the channel clean and tidy. I love that, man. I love the working behind the scenes that the mods are doing. I'm with you. Big up yourselves. You guys are sleeping on Palfinha. If he joins Wolves and becomes a god, don't be crying for him, says Solar. And when you look at Griezmann's salary, no wonder Barca are in a mess, says Joash. 100%, they are completely in a mess. And that's another thing. Soundiguez is looking to go to Barcelona in a swap back for Griezmann as well. So I really can't see that happening. Nearly 500 people watching, guys. Let's like and share the video. Let's do that. The next thing I wanted to talk about was Paul Pogba. I've got to give a little bit of an update on that. And this was from Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail. And what he said was, Man United are under pressure to sell Paul Pogba amid strong interest from PSG, which we know about the interest, but there's been no direct contact from PSG. Mino Raiola is discussing personal terms with PSG, who think they can persuade United to sell for around £43 million, although there has been no contact between two clubs. And he goes on to say that Paul Pogba has given no indication he is interested in signing a new deal. And for me, that's the thing. Look, I don't know. My gut feeling is that, though. My gut feeling is that he won't sign again. I don't even if he ends up staying, I just don't think he will sign. Which for me is a massive issue. I've always said that. And Manchester United must decide whether to recoup some money by selling him or keeping him for another season and risk losing him for nothing. He is due to return for pre-season next week. I think all of this Pogba situation is going to be accelerated next week. I think next week and from next week out is going to be real Pogba season, because obviously he's on his holidays now. There's going to be little rumours. One day it's they've agreed personal terms. Then our journalists are coming out saying there's been no contact from PSG. Then there's no interest from Pogba to sign a new deal. There's a lot going on here, but I think something concrete will start to come out from the press next week. I really do, because if you think about it, you got to wait for him to come back from holiday. Then he's going to have the conversations. Then they're going to sit down with him and say, what's going on? What are your thoughts? They probably got a rough feeling because they've probably had some early talks, but I think the real negotiations will come then. However, and I said this to KG yesterday on our show, I think Pogba's already made his mind up. I don't envisage a situation where we say we get near the end of the transfer window or in this bit and massively convince Pogba to do a U-turn. I think Paul Pogba has decided what he wants to happen. I think the only U-turn that could be... I don't think there's any U-turns to be happening. I think Pogba has decided what he wants. I think Paul Pogba has said... What do I think he said? I think he wants to leave. I definitely agree that he doesn't want to rustle feathers and be disrespectful and down tools or anything like that. But I think he would like to move on. But I just think that he may understand. I think he will understand Man United's viewpoint of saying, well, no one can afford your wages plus your transfer fee that we want to charge for you. So we're not going to accept the bid. I don't see him going, oh, you lot are dickheads, man. I'm not playing then. I just think he'll go, okay, no problem. I'll still play my football. I do love it here, but I'll go next year and I'll just have to go on free because I'm not going to sign that. I think it's something like that. Footy India says, thoughts on Hassim Awar from Leon he plays for. I like him. He's okay. He was linked with Arsenal loads as well. That's always a red flag. But yeah, I like him. I think he's a good player. He can play as a box-to-box midfielder as well. He's good on the ball. I don't mind Hassim Awar, but we haven't really been linked with him at all. I haven't seen his name linked with Manchester United at all, not one bit. But back to the Paul Pogba situation, I just feel that it's really going to accelerate in the next couple of weeks as he's back from holiday and starts his pre-season. I know that we want to keep him, definitely. But something's got to give there. I can't see Paul Pogba going, you know what? I'll sign a thing. Unless the unthinkable happens. Not unthinkable because it's not unthinkable, but unless they say, sign this 2-year contract, or sign this 3-year contract, give us a year so that we'll sell you next year when you've got 2 years left. That's the best kind of situation I can see from it. Do you know what I mean? And if I'm going back to the midfield dilemma of just talking about Ollie and what he's got to do, he's got big decisions to make. And I don't think he's scared to make them because it looks like we're trying to do something. That's one thing I am pleased about. The fact that we know we need to fix our midfield. So we're seeing loads of noise around fixing the midfield. I'd be massive. Remember when before we knew we needed a centre-back, but there was just no noise. I think it was last year. It was like we needed a centre-back even then. There was just no noise about one. There wasn't noise about a lot of stuff last year. There's been times where we've needed a striker or we've needed this or we've needed that, and there's not really much noise about it. And there's a lot of noise about us sorting out our midfield. The Camavinga one started really quickly, then cooled off. I mean, I doubt he's going to come to United. That one's really kind of gone really, really quiet. And I think with such a young player, with him wanting to stay in France, maybe we might see him go to PSG, etc. But also, what is he, 19? Are we really going to put a 19-year-old in straight away at holding midfield and say, hold the fort, instead of a McTominay, who's more experienced, instead of a Fred, who's more experienced, instead of a Matic, who's more experienced? No chance. I'm not saying I agree with that, but I can see, well, I kind of do, because you got to bed him in. You can't just buy him and say, he's the guy, and you're going to start every single game. He's still young. He's still growing. Like, us as fans want it because it's a shiny new toy and think he can be good and possesses the attributes, which I agree with. But putting him straight in and saying, go start every single game in the Prem is a massive, massive expectancy, massive pressure. So, yeah, but I do think there is a big midfield conundrum / dilemma, because who does Solskjaer go for? Declan Rice is never going to happen. Never going to happen. I don't even think he's going to leave this year. At 100 million, no chance. He'll get priced out of a move, so he ain't going to move. We ain't going to go for an Ndidi. I can't see that happening. Basuma's gone quiet. You guys know my thoughts on him. But would I take him? Yes, but nothing. So I think, and that's where again it comes into what Donny's going to do, what Paul Pogba's going to do, and this is why I'm getting a little bit worried. Not worried, but this is why I'm getting a little bit like, I don't know which way this is going to go, because I think it relies on what's going to happen with other players. So the next bit I wanted to talk about was how do you say that? Mundo Deportivo, Spanish outlet. They're saying that Barcelona are interested in signing Donny van de Beek after Wijnaldum snubbed them for PSG. Now, look, take that with a pinch of salt. That was just what was being reported out of the Spanish press. And they're a big, outlet. 2.7 million followers. They're a big outlet out there in Spain. But I still would take that with a pinch of salt. Donny is always, me and KG were talking about this. Donny's always used as the make weight guy, because we bought him and didn't use him. So the question, he's got the biggest question mark over his head, especially if we're bringing in other players. And especially if we want to look for somebody who still has value and still has pedigree. But my argument to that is we need to be trying to find a player out of Donny. I want to see him play. Someone said it as well in a couple of shows ago. They put in the free seats that if we're going to play a 4-3-3, that's literally made for Donny. That's literally made for him. That's, where we've gone wrong with Donny, in my opinion, is bringing him in them games and saying, right, you're playing number 10. You're playing number 10. You need to fulfill Bruno's boots. You need to do what Bruno does. Can't do what Bruno does because he's not the same player. He plays a completely different brand of football. He plays a more intelligent style of football than Bruno, but not as impactful style as Bruno does. They're just two completely different players. The same way I don't think you could probably ask Bruno to do play how Van der Beek plays. He just doesn't play like that. Well, it'll be interesting to see Bruno in a free if we do it. So, but that's why he's always the fall guy, and I see that. But I just don't see him. I just don't see where he's going to play for us, unless Paul Pogba does leave, because we're trying to make as few, and that's what worries me though, because we're trying to make as little transfer stuff as possible, movements as possible, whilst trying to get the things we need. And when I say as little transfer movement as possible, I mean with the outgoings or losing players and having to backfill, losing some of the starting 11. So out of our starting 11, the only one that is at risk of going anywhere is Paul Pogba, out of the whole starting 11. And we know Cavani's going to leave after next season, because I very much doubt he's going to get a third year. So it's almost like we're trying to kind of build a team and add to it, but you're losing another piece at the same time. So it's like, we've only really got money to spend on these 3 positions for our starting team. But we need Pogba to stay there. Oh, shit, he's gone. Now we're going to have to get a 4th player in to replace it. Do you see what I'm saying? And they're going to have to come straight in. And I think they want to avoid that. That's why I'm like, I can't see us trying to make deals for people like Donny leaving if Pogba leaves as well, because then it's another player to have to try and sort out. Free Donny, says JP 119. Free Donny 433, 100%. We can fit Donny into a diamond flex, says Chidera. The diamond, I was never a fan of it. I'll tell you why. I was more not a fan of it because I just think it didn't suit the players that we had, and it didn't suit Ollie's playing style. Like, with the last time I saw us play a diamond, really, really badly. I know we played it a couple of times since, but I remember us playing it against Everton. His fans were there then. It was when Bruno scored the equaliser, so it wasn't last season, it was the season before. And I remember because all the fans were singing, all the fans were singing "We love you, Watford, we do," because Liverpool just lost their unbeaten record to Watford. I remember that game because we were buzzing that they just lost that record, but was also buzzing that we come back to get a draw and we should have won that game. But anyway, we played a diamond in that game for the first half anyway, and then he ended up changing it. But it was Mason, I believe it was Mason and Martial were up front as a 2. And then we had the diamond in behind it. And it was a mess. You had Martial and Mason not knowing whether to be full-on wingers / strikers. They're just not sure about it. So they're in between. The balance was all wrong. You had, I think it was Fred at the time. I think Pogba wasn't even playing then. I think it could be Fred, McTominay, and Bruno would have been in the 10. I don't know if it was Matic in the deepest or whatever. But you had those two kind of running out to the wings to try and cover the space. It just didn't work. And I don't think that will work for us. We'll have to see. Sut says, what's good, Flex? Have you touched on the Goretzka rumours yet? I have. So thank you for just joining. If you just rewind the video, you'll see I started on Goretzka. Or carry on watching and then rewind it at the end. Up to you. United Fan TV, big up one of the mods, says, hit the likes, people. Let's get to 250. Can we do that? That'll be sick. But yeah, so the diamond, I can't see it. The 4-3-3 really excites me because I just think that's what we should be playing with the players that we've got. Go all out attack. Let's make it happen. Why not? And I think there's going to be a big impotence on Ollie to do that. There really is. There's he's got to try and play more attacking football, more progressive football. And I think he wants to do that. That's one thing I will commend Ollie on. At the moment, it looks like he's trying to do that. At the moment, well, to be fair, not even just at the moment, it looks like he's maybe wanted to do that, but maybe didn't have the players. But we'll see. If we end up getting the right players, but we still play the formation, then it's almost as you were. But the next couple of weeks are going to be so key for us doing that, because at the end of the day, if we don't start the season well, the pressure's going to be on Ollie. Ollie's got he's got nothing to fall back on. I think what Ollie's been able to do is say, not that he's saying it, but the kind of the bly that you can give him, and giving someone's a bly, like sort of giving someone a bit of a free pass or letting them off, basically, is what it means. He hasn't got all his players yet. It's obvious we need a centre-half. It's obvious we need a CDM. It's obvious we need someone like Jadon Sancho. It's obvious we needed to keep Cavani or get another proper striker. So if he gets them things, even I'm gonna say even with Varane, with the additions of Varane and Sancho, I would say that is enough to challenge. I know there's gonna be issues in midfield because if it's McTominay and Fred still, there's gonna be an issue there. But if you add Varane, who's gonna shore up that defense and have less of a need to play McTominay and because look, even just by getting Varane, I think there's less of a need to play McTominay and Fred. Already, just by having Varane and Maguire, that's a much more steady partnership, a much less exposed partnership, and it's a partnership that can really, look after itself. Do you know what I'm saying? In their own ways. So I think if you get those two and you get Varane and then you add Sancho to that, which is what would happen, we've got to challenge, at least be up there. You've got to. You can't be finishing fourth way off the title, third way off the title, and not winning the trophy, in my opinion, with that squad. And DevDut says, Flex, what are your thoughts on Trippier? I've said this many times, so I'll say it for you, since obviously you wasn't sure about what I think about it. I would take Trippier all day long. I think he's a great right back. I think people sleep on how good Trippier is. Now that's not overgassing him. It's just appreciating him for how good a footballer he is. Like, he's played in big games. He's just won the league at Atletico in La Liga. He's playing Champions League every year. Like, he's a big player. And I think he could be perfect. The price puts me off, and I hope he doesn't. It looks like they might price him out of the move, and I think he wants to come to United, in my opinion. But I think he'll be perfect for what we need in terms of competition at right back. And like I said, if he did come, I dare say he'd get a lot more games than people think. I'm not saying he should walk in straight away and be the starting right back, because Wan-Bissaka's exceptional and had an exceptional season last year, and that spot is his to lose. But if Trippier, of a player of Trippier's quality and experience did come in, I think that's more than enough reason for him to get some games as well. Flex, do you think we need a proper pre-season? Ollie will be able to implement better tactics. You always need a proper pre-season, but Arsenal just had to cancel their thing to go to Florida. Because of COVID, etc. I just think it's too ambitious to expect us to be going far. I don't know if that's what you're getting at, saying should we have gone far and stuff. But for me, I think, although from a commercial perspective it's not great, and fans around the world can't get to see Man United, and you know me, I love travelling. I love travelling, getting out and speaking to Manchester United fans from all around the world. I love it. But in the situation we're in, it's the safe. Not only is it the safest thing to do, but in terms of for our preparation, it's probably the best thing to do. They're in Surrey. They're down the road. They're in Surrey. Just went on the coach. So, the players got more time there's no jet lag. There's no time difference. There's no kind of mad heat, although it is kind of hot right now, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? So really, and we saw what happened to us last flipping preseason. Jesus, we were all over the shop. Didn't even have a preseason, and players came back only up with a week to go and all that. And we were, you know what I mean? I don't even want to talk about the start that we had last year. It was absolutely shocking. So yeah, for me, I don't see that being an issue. I think it's good. I think it's a good thing that we're based at home, even though I wanted to, talk. So yeah, at the end of the day, that's where we're at with the Goretzka situation, and that is where we are at also with the Paul Pogba situation and Varane. Again, what can I say on that? It keeps moving closer. That's all you can say. It keeps moving closer. I saw some people sort of saying, do you reckon Manchester United are waiting to get Sancho over the line, then wait for Varane and do like a double? I very much doubt that. I think the Varane thing, because we're trying to really push that price down. And I did speak about it, didn't I? I remember when I was saying, like, it makes business sense for Man United to try and get the price down as much as possible because we've got other stuff to buy. And they're in a position where they have to sell him, Real Madrid. They need to get rid of the player. As long as it doesn't get stupid and go into like it's the week before the flipping transfer window ends and we still ain't bought him because we're haggling over 3 million, that will piss me off. But at this stage, I still think we're entitled to try and get him for cheaper. However, if it goes past the next week and a half and we still haven't even made an opening bid, that's when I'll start being like, look, guys, the season starts in 2 weeks or whatever. We need to get moving. Well, actually, no. Well, what's the date now? It's the 21st and our game's on like the 14th. So yeah, if we get to the end of the month, that'll be 2 weeks left to the season. So in about a week and a half, we'll have that left, about 2 weeks. So yeah, if it gets to then and we still ain't made a bid, then I'm saying let's keep going here because that would be an issue for me. Owners that stay in the red have no right to save any money. And we can buy Neves and Basuma and sell Pogba, bench McFred. Basuma and Neves, would I take? I'll take them both. Asher King says, bless flex to the best team. Flex, two of the best team goals last season involved Van der Beek. Must keep him expressly especially if Pogba is leaving this or next season. He can do a good job in any part of the midfield. Asher King said 2 of the best team goals. Yeah, that was, I want to say Newcastle. He was involved in the build-up to that. And wasn't it against Brighton as well? He come off the bench and then he gave a tap into Cavani, didn't he? So, yeah, he was involved in that. Flex, Ollie is not the man for 4-3-3. We will flop even with Varane and Sancho. They're only silent. Flex with the drip, though. Appreciate that. And Sut says, come through the super chat, says, Don Murto and Don Fletcher showing some real promising signs so far. Don't get too far ahead of ourselves. Only got Sancho guaranteed at the moment. Yeah, I agree. I like that's a really good super chat. When those two came in, we were saying, well, looks like Man United are trying to convince us that they're trying to change loads of stuff when really you've just changed people's job titles. You know the little sign that slides in on the door that says whose job. They've just taken it out of someone else's and put it down the corridor in someone else's office. But at the same time, what I was saying, you've got to be balanced. You have to give people a chance. Let's see how our transfer activity is. Let's see how aggressive we are. Let's see if we can tie up deals and get the right players through the door. If we get Varane and Sancho, they are massive intent-filled signings. Intent-filled signings. That's what they are. They're filled with intent. 100%. They're filled with ambition. They're filled with, we're fed up with being shit in this area. We want to spend big and get the proper players. They're 2 world-class players. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not players where we're like, oh, they're going to come in. Would they even start for us? They're 2 instant impact players. So you're right. But like what you said there, Sue, don't get too ahead of ourselves because we've only got Sancho as it stands. And that is very, very true. DJ Smith says, I hope we have a backup to Varane. I have a feeling this will go wrong. Wow. Oh, you don't mean a backup in terms of if he plays? Because I was going to say we got that in Lindelof and Bailly and whatnot. You mean if it doesn't happen, if the move doesn't materialize? I'm gonna just do a KG and act like I didn't hear that because I can't allow any negativity. No, that's not even negativity. Realism, because you're right, DJ. You're being real, and the normal flex would do that. Guys, let's relax. We don't know. It can still fall through. Of course it can, but because I've just been riding out for Varane and I'm so emotionally attached to this signing, and I've just badly want it to happen, and I just think he's going to just have the best impact for us. I just can't. I can't. But you're right. You're right. It could happen. Watching from Nairobi, Kenya. Keep up the good work, Flex, says Andrew. You missed the super chat from Footy India, says Shyam. Apologies. Can't see it. Where did I? Let me scroll up, see if I can see that. Footy India. Thoughts on Hasim Awar. I did cover that one. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I did. And someone's calling me right now. And Netflix and chill, says Steve Tompkins. You missed super chat. Pogba is in for a shock. Only PSG can afford, and he will keep playing in a crap league. Well, I don't know. A lot of people saying, why would he want to go to there? Why would he want to go to PSG? Paul Pogba. What's he going to achieve there? But he's probably thinking that as like he's going to achieve titles instantly. He's going to be back home in France. He's always going to get into the French squad, obviously. And he's going to be challenging for the Champions League. And they're building a big project. They've got Donnarumma, they've got Ramos, they've got Hakimi. If he goes there this year, he'll be playing alongside Verratti. Some people were saying we should request Verratti in exchange. Would you do that? Bit of money plus Verratti. Flex, are you doing fan cam? Says Zizi. Of course. I think fan cams are super important. I think that, people still need to have their say at the games. So yeah, we'll be there. Actually, I'll be we'll be covering every single game in the season. So yeah, look out for us. Look out for me at the games. If you're getting yourself to a game and you want to have your say, the channel is here for you to have your say. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, people at the game should get to have their opinion on the game, just like everyone else around the world. So yeah, big up. Unpopular opinion, says Palm Tree. Bailly and Varane probably make a better pairing than Maguire and Varane. Nah, I disagree. It is. I do think that would be an unpopular opinion, Palm Tree. I do. I think Eric Bailly. I mean, I think they're probably too similar. You know what? You don't want that. You don't want to have people being too similar. You know what I mean? For me, I think what Varane doesn't have, Maguire does, and what Maguire doesn't have, Varane has. I think if you play Bailly and Varane, although for certain games it could lock off certain attacks with the pace and the power in it, but Eric Bailly on the ball sometimes a little bit rash. Varane quick, maybe not as dominant in the air as like a Maguire. There would be something missing. And Flex, are you going to any preseason games? Yes, all of them. QPR, Preston North End, Brentford, Everton. Then the season will start. So yeah. Missed the Derby one, was spending the day with family, which was massively important to me, which was amazing. But it is the business end now. We are going to go full steam ahead. So look out for all of the match day content as well. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Smash a like on the video. 12 o'clock, your transfer update news. Unless we're doing stuff with guests and that, when the time will be a bit different. But yeah, expect this video daily at 12 p.m. I am out of here, guys. Peace.